Hey everyone, welcome to the Survivor Gabon Preview Show, a brand new addition to the channel. Before I describe what that is exactly, if anybody's new to the channel, Tarqaron is a variety of things, and one of those things is Survivor. Every week we talk about Survivor, but it's a little different than a lot of channels that talk about Survivor. We're not talking about any modern Survivor right now. It's actually a whole project where I'm taking my friend Alec through Survivor chronologically from the beginning. So this started way back in the very beginning of 2019, where we both watched and reviewed Survivor Borneo. That was on my solo channel at the time, and it would remain that way for the first 3 season reviews. Then we would go on to do a season review at the very start of this channel, Tarqaron, for Marquesas. And then after that, once we entered Survivor Thailand, and ever since, we would do week by week episode reactions and discussions. So you can actually watch the episode along with us, get Alex's first time reactions in our conversation as we're watching, and then we'll discuss it afterwards. And the fun part of it is I'm a big Survivor fan. I've seen all these seasons, but I'm taking Alex through them for the first time, and he doesn't know what's to come. He's not right in the Survivor community where he knows all the big things. He doesn't know anything about what's to come. He doesn't know what seasons are to come. He doesn't know what moments, what winners, anything like that. So it's completely fresh, and we're trying to keep it that way, of course. So we just finished Survivor Micronesia, and we just did a couple ranking videos, ranking all the seasons, all the winners, putting them on a tier list so that we can build on them in the future. But I'm here now to do a little new thing. If you don't like it, let me know. If you do, also let me know. You just let me know your thoughts in general. I was planning on doing this for every new season after this one as well. So it's not just like a Gabon specific thing. But of course, if you're not feeling it, let me know. Not gonna hurt my feelings at all. It's just a thing I'm trying. So essentially what it's gonna be is I'm gonna talk about, I'm not gonna waste too much of your time. I'm not gonna be here for hours. I'm gonna talk about Survivor Gabon, my thoughts in it, my expectations going into the reaction series with Alec, and I'm actually going to lay down specific predictions. So here's the thing. After every season of Survivor we go through, we do an in-depth season review, and then within that review and then afterwards, we cover everything from Alec's favorite player. He gives out an award for Cutie of the Season, a very prestigious award. He will give a pre-jury gem award, and then we'll both be ranking the season and the winner against the rest of them afterwards. So we'll also be doing a ranking the cast thing as well, but I probably won't be getting into that as much here. So I'm going to lay down specific predictions. I'm going to say who will Alec name as his pre-jury gem, the Cutie of the Season, his favorite player of the season, and then I'm going to try to pinpoint where he will place it on the season ranking and the winner ranking. All right. Of course, odds that I hit that are slim in general. So if I hit that, I should get a prize if I get it spot on. But really just the idea is then after the season, I'll be able to say how far off I was from my predictions. I think it could be a fun little experiment in itself. The interesting thing is starting with Survivor Gabon as the first season to do this, I think this is a tough one. Not necessarily for the award part, but the ranking part. Okay, so what I feel like would be pretty easy is the pre-jury gem, okay? If you look at the pre-jury of Survivor Gabon, there's not much there in terms of interesting players. So I think Ace is the most likely by far for him to be the pre-jury gem of the season. All right, and same with the Cutie of the Season. She's there the whole season. That's pretty much, it's a slam dunk for Sugar to be the Cutie this season by default. I think no big deal. Alec's favorite player. You never know for sure going to a season like this. But here's the thing. I want to show you this. I don't know if you know what this is. The Smash Brothers. I actually got a DVD that he just did of it recently. Just a couple weeks ago. It came in the mail. And this is an older documentary featuring right here up top Mr. Ken, who I'm actually big into competitive Smash Bros. And Melee specifically, so I knew exactly who he was before watching the season. Classic, the first best player of Super Smash Bros. Melee. And back in the day, actually, when we first started doing Survivor discussions on the channel, or on my channel, actually, when we first did our couple of reviews, it was at the time where we wouldn't be filming videos, and it wasn't a week-by-week thing, so we would actually get together online and watch them together. So we would be binging episodes. Then there was also a time where we were mixing in other non-Survivor things, and one of the things I wanted him to watch at the time was the Smash Brothers, just because I thought it was interesting if you're not, like, if you don't know much about the competitive scene. And we never ended up finishing it. We watched a few episodes, but I'm interested if we'll remember Ken or not. That's a thing to me. But all that to say, I think Ken is the most likely to be his favorite in recent seasons. Well, in general, he's always been inclined to like the strategist, the Rob Cesternino type, the Todd type, and they're usually his favorite player that season. Now, there's an outside chance that he really likes Bob. Back in the day, it was always a joke that he really liked the old guys, like Pascal and like Roger Bingham, Rudy. Like he really liked the old white guys. But I think as the seasons have progressed, as the show has evolved, I think he's become more and more inclined to favor the more strategic player than not. And Ken is an entertaining player. He's probably my favorite of the season in general, so it's not like any fault to picking that. But that's the feeling I get. So I'll say Ken for that reason. He's there the entire season as well, so that's like he's not gonna forget about him. So those are my predictions as far as those: Ace, pre-jury gem, Sugar, QD of the season, and Ken, favorite player of the season. Now, I'm going to get into the rankings. Okay, so Survivor Gabon. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Survivor Gabon. I'm very happy. I was very happy to see a few comments, like excited for Survivor Gabon specifically. People coming out of the woodwork, excited specifically to see the season coming up. And that's really nice to see. And it's interesting because Survivor Gabon has always been seen as that season that you either love it or you hate it. And I think, case in point, when Rob Has a Podcast did their like top 40 Survivor season rankings, where they had all their viewers rank the seasons and see where it averaged out. I forget where exactly this fell, but it was pretty pretty low in the grand scheme of things. It was like 30 something, maybe I'm wrong. Out of not 30 something, probably 20 something out of. Let me just double check. Out of 40, yeah, they had it number 26 out of 40, which is interesting. I've heard, because I heard even at the time a lot of people were like, I had it number 1, number 3, number 5, and it averaged out to 26 because some people just really didn't care for it. And what people often say is that it's not a strategic season, and the strategy isn't great or whatever. People aren't great at the strategy. And I agree and disagree. Actually, like when I watched it for the first time, I've only seen it through once, and that was a couple years ago. I found it to be like, I was like, they're making a lot of mistakes, but it's not like, there's like some drama and there's emotions to it, but there's some strong strategic elements in there as well, I think. But yeah, what people remember from the season is that it's messy, the drama, and so it's like you're either here for that or you're not. Famously, if you watch our Survivor reactions, I remember there's a point in China where I thought it was like easily the best episode so far that season, and I think Alec ultimately conceded that it was a great episode, but he was conflicted on the whole conflict, the ongoing conflict that was going on. The drama element of it that was like at tribal council and whatnot. And so my takeaway was always like, oh, he's not a big fan of drama, so Survivor Gabon is going to be interesting. He could not be a fan of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he really liked it as well. It's an acquired taste, I guess, but to me, here's the thing. Where do I see it? It's one of my favorite seasons ever. I think it's probably top 5 season for me at least. Though I remember even when I first watched it, I was like, that might have just been my favorite season. It's like hard to rival Heroes versus Villains, of course, but it might be my favorite season. It's again, I've only watched it once, so on a rewatch, I'll be able to really take a closer look at it because I was kind of binging it, and this will be week by week. So week by week, you really see how strong or how weak a season can be, because it's like if we're really struggling through weeks, then you'll feel it. But yeah, ultimately, I would put it very high. I would probably have it S tier minimum, or minimum A tier, maybe S tier for me. So yeah, to preface, like if you want to watch our ranking, for the longest time, after every season, we would just rattle off a whole list of our seasons and put them like, okay, here's my ranking: Micronesia, Pearl Islands, China, etc., etc. And where am I going to put it? But then recently, we finally made the jump, and we put them on a tier list, so it's easier to see and easier to follow. So some things got kind of shifted around in the process. And so where do I think he will place it on his season rankings? It's so hard because, again, it could be like love or hate sort of situation, or it could end up middling out. I don't know. For me, my best guess at this time is that it'll be top of B tier specifically on his list. So if you look at his season ranking right now, he has an S tier, Micronesia, Pearl Islands. A tier, Amazon, China, Vanuatu, Australian Outback. And then B tier is Vanuatu, Cook Islands, Borneo. I think it'll be at the top of that. That's my guess. Again, I'm taking a shot in the dark here. Like Micronesia, I probably would have guessed like number 2. To be safe, I probably would have said number 2. But I would have been, I never would have been more than 1 or 2 off. That's like pretty slam dunk, certain seasons like that. But in this one, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how far off I am. So I'm saying top of B tier, 7 out of 17 overall. Now, there's always the element of if we revisit the tier list, he might shift things around, which could throw things off. But ultimately, what we're looking at is 7 out of 17 seasons that we'll be at that point. That's what my guess is, number 7. I hope I'm surprised and he just loves it. It'll be great. But all right, winner ranking. Bob, notoriously always seen as a lower ranked winner. I think it's safe to say he'll be towards the bottom. I mean, nothing's safe to say with Gabon, but I think either D or F tier. What I'm seeing from his tier list is, it's very similar to, it's the same exact thing for my bottom 5. So Aris, in D tier, it's Aris, Ethan, Danny, and then F is Amber and Jenna. My guess will be that he's at the top of F tier, putting him at 15 out of 17 winners overall. That's my guess for Bob. Bob, Amber, Jenna, F tier. There it is. Those are my predictions. They're in writing. They're like cemented before we haven't recorded any episodes yet, so I have no bias going into it. Want to make sure I have this done. Let me know if you like this idea of preview/prediction show here. And let me know your expectations and your thoughts about the season overall. I know a few of you are excited for it. Let me know if there are any of you that are dissenters that don't care for the season too much. I'm excited to see his reaction to a player like Randy, to a player like Corinne, who are like brutal in different ways and like true villain types. And like see what he thinks about Susie, the wild card and icon that she is. Sugar and her Sugar Shack, and how, in my opinion, she kind of like, she should have won that season, like, should have, right? As any winner should have won if they haven't. It's, I just think she played surprisingly well, and like she was really emotional, and it was hard. It's hard for someone to get a lot of credit when they are, but it's funny. It'll be interesting to break down, because it's like one of those messiest seasons in terms of like pure drama. The mess is there the whole time, and even all the way to the way it ends, it's just purely chaotic. Like you come out with Bob as the winner in a 4-3 vote over Susie specifically having the 3 votes and Sugar getting none. It's just like complete mess and chaos all the way through. So I'm excited to see that the classic GIF where when they come back from the tribal council and like the reactions of like Maddie's smile building and then everybody else's face dropping. It's like that's a beautiful GIF right there. I don't know. It's just gonna be a fun time regardless. It's the first HD season as well. Some beautiful stuff to look at, and that'll be a nice change of pace for us as well. And I like the location. It feels as a super different vibe than like a Micronesia, just from that alone. We'll see. Oh, and the sugar incident, Randy and the whole idol shenanigans, him getting played there. Let me know what you're looking forward to, what you think, and how do you think my predictions will be. You disagree? Where do you think he'll fall? And until next time, coming up real soon, Survivor Gabon, and on the channel, plenty more on the way. Film reviews, TV, video game reviews, discussions, fun games, shenanigans, lots of variety on the channel, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care, all right?